There were some big names that struggled last year, and here we are, 2019, and their ADPs are free falling.
Falling 'cause I'm free falling.
What is going on, Headliner Nation? If that was not a way to be serenaded into a video, I don't know what else. I'm pretty sure I could win American Idol. Is American Idol even on anymore?
I think it is, but I don't know if I'll be auditioning anytime.
The Voice, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure I got that in the bag. I'm pretty sure I nailed that note.
You could be on The Masked Singer. And then...
Perfect. That's even better because I have no shame, really. But if you put a mask on me, I'll do whatever you want. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. We kind of, started off a little crazy here, trying to have a little bit more fun. Why? Because there's a lot of fantasy shows out there that are absolutely boring to watch. We don't want to be those boring people. We're trying to switch it up, have more fun with it. Joined once again by Mr. Kyle Richardson. Kyle, we're going to be talking about a few guys, and I'm not going to sing it again, but whose ADPs are currently falling in mock drafts that have already started here in 2019.
Yep, and we'll be pulling all this data from Fantasy Football Calculator, one of our new partners that we'll be working with. So any of the ADP information that you hear from us will be on their site, and you can also go out there and check out all the players that you're interested in seeing as well. But like you said, these players, their ADPs are dropping right now. Injuries, bad performances, whatever it may be. These were guys that we looked to last season to be heavy contributors to our team, and it just didn't happen. So do you give them a bargain this year, or do you go ahead and bypass them because you can't deal with it again?
Right, absolutely. And we're going to get into it. We have 6 names, 3 of us apiece. We're going to try to get through them as quick as humanly possible to make these videos shorter for you guys, to get you more information in the shortest amount of time. As long as Kyle stays hydrated, we'll fly right through it. Kyle, you're going to lead us off in this.
Again.
Huh?
As long as you don't sing again.
Oh, I'll sing. Don't tempt me. I will find something to sing at some point. But as of right now, I won't be rude enough to sing while you're talking. So why don't you hit us with your first one?
So my first one's going to be Leonard Fournette, and his ADP really hasn't dropped that far. He was the running back 8 last season, but he is down to running back 14 now, and you have to wonder if he doesn't continue to drop a little bit more. Me personally, I think if I needed to take him as my running back too, we've talked about it in other videos. We love our running backs. Let's say I have like the 1.01 through 0.4 of a startup or a redraft league. I take one of those heavy hitters at running back, and then maybe I take a wide receiver in my second round. Leonard Fournette in the third round might not be that bad of a value. There were some drafts last year. He did creep up towards the first round. I did see him taken in the first round of some drafts. That's why he was the running back 8. I don't think he gets nearly that close this season. He was almost out of Jacksonville there at one point, and we were wondering what happens with him, but it does seem like he will remain there. But let's see what they do at quarterback, and that's why I say let's see how that ADP shifts a little bit, because if they get a solid quarterback, he might be good. If they go with maybe a rookie in the draft and they don't take a veteran, it could slip a little bit more.
And one of the biggest problems you have to deal with Leonard Fournette is his injury proneness, if that's a word. I mean, it's something. It's his foot, his ankle, it's his hamstring, whatever it is. He struggles a lot, and hopefully they do get a quarterback in there that can help stretch the field and open up the field so they don't feel like they have to hand the ball off to him 30 times a game, because he's just not durable enough to handle it on any given week. I mean, it could literally be 2 weeks into the season, and he's just not somebody you can count on. It could be a deal, a steal there on draft day, but I agree. We got to wait and find out. If nothing really changes, if they're got, Joe Schmo as their quarterback going into the season, I'm not too excited about Leonard Fournette. What about if Nick Foles? What if Nick Foles goes there? Do you like Leonard Fournette a little bit more?
Probably not, because I don't really like Nick Foles anywhere unless it's Philadelphia. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be too happy about that. I'd probably still take him like in that same place I just said, like that round 3. If I really want another running back and he's still sitting around there, I'd probably go for that. But only averaged 3.3 yards per carry last season. At one point I saw that was the lowest yards per attempt for a qualifying rusher ever.
Yeah, I mean, he has a mean right hook though.
This is true. Yeah. This is true. He did fight a lot better than he ran last season.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a positive. That's a takeaway, Kyle. That's a takeaway as a positive there for Leonard Fournette. All right, I'm going to go to somebody who I am not only, a fan of, but somebody who I really enjoy watching play football, as long as I don't have to watch him play football from last year, and that's Larry Fitzgerald of the Arizona Cardinals. He was coming in with all kinds of expectations. He had 3 years with 100 catches and 1,000 yards, and Sam Bradford was the quarterback at the start of the season. We didn't know how long it would last until Josh Rosen came in. Well, it didn't last very long. Josh Rosen took over, and that offense absolutely stalled 100%. Last year, Larry Fitzgerald's ADP was 35. 35 for Larry Fitzgerald because his consistency leading up to it. Right now, Larry Fitzgerald is 115. And that is like, wow. That's a huge drop for Larry Fitzgerald. But the offense has struggled as a whole in Arizona. Josh Rosen's inability last year, and part of it may have been the coaching staff. I mean, we sat on shows and talked about the lack of usage of David Johnson and other weapons in that offense. Christian Kirk started to show slight flashes, but there's a new coaching staff now there. Cliff Kingsbury and his air raid offense is going to take over and hopefully can make something out of nothing because it was really nothing in Arizona last year. Larry Fitzgerald had the worst season of his career as far as yards, receiving yards, 734. That's almost 50 yards less than his rookie year.
We've been saying it for a couple of years now. Is this the final run for Larry Fitzgerald? And I think this will be it. I think this will end up being the year. I think he's going to be done after this year. Again, though, can he ride off into the sunset? I think Cliff Kingsbury is the exact coach to do that for him. I know a lot of people don't love that hire. I really like it. I'm a big Cliff Kingsbury fan. You can talk about college and what I mean. You're the fourth recruitment stop in Texas right now. It's a whole different ball game there. He can implement the offense. They can get the defense going. Defense wasn't bad at times last year. It was really the offense and getting Josh Rosen to grow and getting them to a next level. I will buy as many Larry Fitzgerald shares as possible if he continues to remain at that ADP.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. I mean, it's very little risk at that point, and there's a huge upside if they do turn that offense around. Absolutely.
My next guy is Jordan Howard. Now, not nearly as steep as a fall as Larry Fitzgerald, but we're coming pretty close. And the reason is because last season, prior to 2000, just a smidge, as we like to say, last season, prior to 2018, he was drafted as the running back 13. So we looked at this guy as a fringe. I'm not going to be able to keep going if you keep doing that. I looked at him as a fringe running back 1. This season, running back 54 in terms of ADP, completely off the map. And I'll tell you what, we talked about this on our last video, ADP Risers. If you haven't had a chance to check out that video, go do that for us. But we talked about on that video the Patriots backfield with Sony Michel and James White. Sony Michel is going to get a majority of the carries. James White's going to get a majority of the receptions. And then Rex Burkhead is going to be somewhere in between. But we said we still like Sony Michel, even though we said no receiving upside whatsoever, basically. He's just going to get carries. That's the same thing here with Jordan Howard. And isn't this an offense that a lot of people consider to be on the rise? I'm not really saying they are the Patriots, not trying to compare them in any way, shape, or form, because Bears fans will yell at me and the Patriots fans will yell at me. But isn't this a guy basically in the same situation? So now we're saying running back 54. Guys that are currently going in front of Jordan Howard include Carlos Hyde, Rex Burkhead, Doug Martin, Gio Bernard, Jay Ajayi.
People are straight drunk out there right now, Kyle.
Yeah. And then Alex Collins.
I would rather pick myself over any of those guys right now.
Exactly. If Jordan Howard continues to be that low in your drafts, you need to be taking him a lot earlier just so someone else isn't thinking along the same lines. But if I could get him like as a running back 4 on my bench, absolutely. Give it to me. Why not?
What did you just say? Did you ever say that to me again on a recorded show? Ever. That's just awkward. Anyway, Jordan Howard, while you sit there and laugh, I have to think that the closer we get to the season, this has to creep back up. I just can't believe it's going to stay down this low. However, I do know that he's going to be lower than he was last year. A lot of people don't like to put up with these early season struggles of Jordan Howard. It seems to be a thing there in Chicago. And I'm not totally selling and hopping away from Jordan Howard, but I'm not actively out there looking for him. If he falls in the later rounds, then yes, I will take him. But he's not somebody that I'm going to have queued up on my draft board in hopes that I get. Because if I don't, I'm probably not going to lose any sleep over it. Why? I really don't sleep a whole lot anyway. I'm not really looking to sacrifice it over Jordan Howard. So just pay attention to it. Watch what the ADP goes to here as we get closer to the season, which is forever and 14 days away. But it has an opportunity to climb back up, but it's still a great value. All right.
So what you're saying, it's forever and 2 weeks away.
Tomato, Kyle. All right, my next guy. Going back to the running back position, and we're going to talk about Royce Freeman. People probably threw things when they saw me talk about Royce Freeman because Royce Freeman absolutely sucked last year. But he didn't really totally suck. He just partially sucked, but it's partly because he really didn't get much of an opportunity. He still averaged over 4 yards per carry, had 5 touchdowns, but Phillip Lindsay really turned into a thing in Denver, and it really didn't give Royce Freeman a chance. Well, now, what kind of recovery happens with Phillip Lindsay? Is he back in time? Is he limited? Is it something where Royce Freeman gets more of a chance because of a new coaching staff this year in Denver with Vic Fangio, which is awesomely fun to say, who's the former defensive coordinator of Chicago? Does Royce Freeman kind of fit more into the plans this year? Possibly. Last year, his ADP, 29. This year, 102. Nobody likes Royce Freeman. Everybody's pissed because of what happened last season with Royce Freeman. And I can almost guarantee, unless something comes out early in the preseason where Phillip Lindsay is not going to be able to start the season, we're going to get Royce Freeman for dirt cheap. And it's not going to be something where I'm looking forward to getting him either. But this is somebody who could end up maybe being your running back 4, running back 5. And if Lindsay can't come back to 100%, Royce Freeman has the ability. He needs the opportunity. He hasn't really gotten it yet, and hopefully he can get it this year. I'm not going to make a decision on Royce Freeman just yet. I'm not going to say that I'm buying or selling until we get a little bit closer. I need to get more information on Phillip Lindsay first.
I'm scared to talk about Royce Freeman.
Me too.
Because honestly, whatever I say at this point, people will probably tune out because they're still upset with me.
That's why I said it, Kyle.
I'm not giving up on Royce Freeman either at this point. Because I think, the problem with Royce Freeman last season is he saw more stacked boxes than almost anybody. I think, and I can't remember who it is. I think there was only one player who saw more stacked boxes, more defenders, more than 8 defenders in the box at a time. What was he supposed to do? The only time he ran the ball is when they were like, here, up the middle into 8 defenders. You don't get anything. There was no creativity with that offense. I mean, everyone knew when he was running the ball last year. So I'm not going to hold last year against him. I think he rebounds. And I mentioned it the other day when I was talking about Joe Flacco with the Denver Broncos. When I was talking about that, I think Royce Freeman and Phillip Lindsay are really the key. I think they're going to ride those two as much as possible, ride that defense. Flacco's just the game manager.
That's even generous at this point.
I was one of the only people who said, I don't hate this move for the Broncos.
I don't hate it, but I don't think it helps a whole lot.
I think it helps. I think he's better. Different show. Different view.
Anyway.
We'll talk about him.
All right. Well, now that everybody hates me for Royce Freeman, at least I didn't endorse the guy.
This is true.
Yet. Okay. You go. Take the pressure off me, Kyle.
Marquise Goodwin, another person that I absolutely loved last season. Didn't work out. I thought this guy had legit wide receiver 2 upside, was going to be awesome in that offense. Jimmy Garoppolo. Did you just say too legit to quit? Okay.
No, I just said too legit to quit.
So after the breakout year in 2017 with 962 yards on 56 receptions, this past season, 395 yards. So part of that is going into obviously losing Jimmy Garoppolo as early in the season as the 49ers did. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when they come back. A lot of people are talking about the 49ers adding a wide receiver, whether it be the draft, whether it be Antonio Brown, whether it be in free agency, doesn't matter. They're going to be adding somebody. We've already heard at this point that Pierre Garçon, his option is being declined at this point, so he's not going to be back. So you have Goodwin, you have Dante Pettis. there's going to still be room in that offense. Okay, George Kittle obviously did very well last season, so
Antonio Brown.
and Antonio Brown, if it ends up happening, we'll see. They're supposed to be meeting this week to talk, him and Art Rooney, the owner. So we'll see what happens. But I think if they don't add a wide receiver, I think Goodwin still holds some value into next season. Was drafted as a wide receiver 23, currently sitting at wide receiver 42. If I could get him as my wide receiver for this year, I'd take it.
Yeah, absolutely. He does have that upside, and it was a carousel at quarterback position, and really the only person that got anything is George Kittle in that offense. Dante Pettis had a few good weeks. All right, my last guy, somebody who last year preseason you did not like, and you actually called him a bust last year, so you get a little bit of credit. You get like a brownie or a cookie or a sticker, whatever it is, you get one, because I'm talking about David Johnson of the Arizona Cardinals, whose ADP last year was third overall. This year, he's down to 18. Now, obviously, the Arizona Cardinals as a whole struggled. I kind of talked a lot about that when we talked about Larry Fitzgerald, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But David Johnson, beginning of the season, we were questioning his usage a lot. He only had 4 games all year where he had 20-plus carries. Maybe this is one of those cases, though, where we can get him for a discounted price. Would you like to have David Johnson as your running back, too? Possibly, because you know the upside is going to be there. The ability to go get you 75 to 85 receptions is going to be there. The goal line carries, not a whole lot of options to share with. New offense. I like David Johnson a lot this year, especially if he stays right there in the late teens. I will take David Johnson as my running back too all day long, and just hope that the Cardinals can turn it around enough and they actually give this dude the ball 20 to 30 times a game.
I mean, you just asked if I would like David Johnson as my running back too.
Out loud, I did, yes.
Mm-hmm. If you could give me David Johnson as my running back 1, I would still take him as my running back 1. 100%. Wouldn't even think twice about it. So while he is falling and people have a sour taste in their mouth still from last season, I'm not worried about it. I'm taking him because he still finishes the running back 9 last season. And Jake mentioned that I had called him a bust. I called him a bust at his basically 3 overall ADP because I did have some concerns about that offense. I thought they would have to throw the ball a lot. And I thought people would key in on him specifically, trying to stop the run and in the passing game. And I thought it was just going to be really hard for him to try and do all those things himself with a rookie quarterback and or Sam Bradford. End up becoming partially true. I also didn't like the coaching staff and their scheme there. So, you know, we'll see what happens going into this season. Again, if you are somebody that goes wide receiver first to start, you know, if you have one of those back end picks where you take an OBJ, a Devontae Adams, you know, someone like that, Mike Evans, if he creeps into the first round, I haven't really seen that, but even an OBJ, like if you spend like a first round pick on that, and then you can get David Johnson in the second round, 100%. What a start. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of us who like to go heavy running back, could you imagine if you could end up with a Saquon and a David Johnson if you got him at the end of the second?
I'd be pumped.
My chub would be back, Kyle.
We've done so many things this episode. If people still subscribe after this,
no, they're going to subscribe because they want to see us sing some more.
They're true members of Headliner Nation. If you haven't subscribed yet, boop, do it.
Absolutely, right now. But hey, we appreciate you guys trying to have a little bit more fun. I'm trying to get Kyle to sing at the beginning of every video.
Don't worry, people. It's not happening.
Not going to happen. Maybe we'll start taking requests. That would be fun. But before I totally make Kyle, you know, paranoid with anxiety over there of having to sing every show, make sure you follow us both on Twitter. Go find Kyle at krich1532, me at Fantasy Headliners, FNTSY Headliners. If there's somebody else who you have questions about, throw them down in the comment section. We're one of the most interactive YouTube channels out there. Either myself or Kyle or somebody will get back to you and try to help you make a decision, give you some information, give you some insights on it. We look forward to talking to you guys. Make sure you have a great rest of your week, and make sure you go check out fantasyfootballcalculator.com. Like I said, a lot of the ADP information we got tonight was from that website. I'll have it linked down below, so go check it out. You guys have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.